So sometimes stories come out of somewhere and they just encapsulate something, a moment, a vibe. And in this case, a man in a hat. So at the robbery at the Louvre, this one image went absolutely viral. A teenage boy standing outside the museum in a waistcoat, fedora, and what I can only describe as full Poirot core. His real name is Pedro. He's from Rambouillet. He likes Sherlock Holmes and Hercule Poirot, and he said, and I quote, "I like to be chic." And frankly, that should be the national motto. He didn't even know he'd been photographed. A journalist snapped him asking police why the museum was shut, and it turns out that the photo had 5 million views on TikTok and had made it into the New York Times. But here's what I find fascinating: the internet adores him. He's 15 and French and dresses like a Parisian detective from 1927. He wasn't part of the heist, he wasn't even supposed to be there. He happened to be at the wrong place looking completely right. Because somehow, without even trying, he'd captured the internet's imagination, the aesthetic, the timing, the atmosphere. He wasn't just at the crime scene, he fit the genre. And frankly, I loved it. I loved the mystery, the romance of it. But it did get me thinking, what if you were some 40-year-old from Surrey and wore the exact same outfit to the National Gallery? Would we still swoon? Or would we just call him a posh weirdo, a cringe tryhard, or, God forbid, a Tory?
Whoa, whoa.
Here I come.
Oh.
Here I come.
Oh.
Because whilst we were all out romanticizing Fedora Boy, the Daily Mail, I know, they published an article titled 11 Men's Fashion Trends That Secretly Repel Women. And reader, it was chaos. Quarter zips were described as sexless, gilets asexual. One woman said that a jumper made a man look short and less fertile, like we're now blaming knitwear for the declining birth rates. And here's the irony: Pedro was dressed for statement with flair for romance. But if a grown British man showed up in that same outfit, he'd be mocked online, accused of LARPing as Jacob Rees-Mogg, and someone would definitely comment, "I bet he quotes Churchill on dates," which is frankly unfair, because honestly, at least he's read a book. So that's when I came across this article, How to Survive the Menswear Sameness Epidemic, and it just clicked. That's what Pedro cut through. The sameness, the safety, the overwhelming instinct that so many modern men have, which is just to blend in rather than to stand out. And suddenly it all made sense why a 15-year-old in a waistcoat could go viral, not for shouting or posturing or even trying too hard, but just for showing up with presence. Because in a time where self-expression's been diluted by fear, irony, TikTok trends, dressing well has become one of the last visible acts of pride, not just in yourself, but in your culture. And you know what? It reminded me of something that I actually said in my Bond video. So in my James Bond video, I said, we're obsessed with the casting of James Bond. Decisive, elegant, strong, British. But we've spent the better part of the last few decades telling men that those exact qualities are toxic. So what are we doing? Do we want him or not? And that's why Pedro's photo worked. Because the clothes fit the crime, where elegance isn't seen as cringe and effort isn't ironic. And this is where I have to be honest with you, because the Daily Mail article, it didn't make me just feel bad for men. It made me look at myself. Because when the world gets heavy, when money is tight and life feels flat and the future looks grey, the first thing to go is usually how you show up. You stop putting the effort in, you stop dressing for the life you want, and suddenly you're in a slump you didn't even see coming. Because if I'm so quick to defend the rights of men to dress with purpose and presence, maybe I need to do the same and be honest about it. So as we start thinking about New Year's resolutions, maybe the real glow up isn't about gym memberships or collagen powders. Maybe it's about dressing like we respect ourselves, like we're part of something worth showing up for. Because if a gilet makes someone look asexual, then maybe we're not just dressing down. We're all dressing like we've given up. It's the difference between I showed up, and I showed up like I mean it. And maybe that's the resolution. Not to become someone else, just to become a little more polished. To swap just about made it for actually meant it. Because nothing says I've turned a corner like reuniting with your ironing board. And I think that Pedro, our unlikely little Parisian detective, understood something that we've all forgotten. That presentation matters. Not for perfection, but for pride of self. How we dress isn't just about trends, it's a reflection of how we carry ourselves. So maybe our goal for 2026 shouldn't be personal glow ups, but to glow up culturally. To bring back a Britain that remembers how to dress like it has something to be proud of. Not because it's trending to promote Britain, but because it's always been true. And if that's your vibe, oh my gosh, this rhymes, then subscribe. But let me know what you think below, and do have a think about liking and subscribing. It really helps out. Thanks.